Pelech, Pulock. Why did they come in at number 9?
Why are the Islanders so good? Because they play defense, because of their structure, and because they give up nothing.
True.
So you thought, well, maybe it's Barry Trotz in the system. Maybe it's just the guys. You plug anybody in there, and it would be fine. But that's not the case. These two guys emerged as their two best defensemen of one of the best defensive teams in the league. And Adam Pelech is a stay-at-home guy, very good defensively, active stick, physical when he has to be, but just does not let you get to the spots on the ice that you want to get to. Just doesn't give you good scoring opportunities. He's got a fantastic stick, though, beyond the physical play. When he needs it, he's there. He plays against a lot of tough matchup, Tone. You like that as a coach. You put him out there and feel very comfortable. Now, Ryan Pulock, maybe a little bit more of an explosive member of the Killer Peas where, you know, he's a defensive player, too. Big guy, strong in front of the net. Maybe not quite as efficient as Adam Pelech with taking pucks off guys, but maybe a little bit better with the puck and making nice plays. And you love that as a forward. Someone who can take a puck back to the wall under some pressure and not just shoot it off the glass. Get your head up, make a play where I can then make the next play and we can get out of the zone. And then once you get the puck in the offensive zone, you can do some things with it. And this is where Pulock really took strides this past year, I thought. We knew he could always shoot the puck. One of the hardest shots in the NHL. But his ability to make plays in his own end, allowing him to play more often in this end, and that is one of the scariest sights. I mean, he's up there with Shea Weber. He can shoot the puck as hard as anybody with the one-timer. He's a big part of what the Islanders try to do, especially on the power play. Tee up that big shot and let them go to work. They're not the same kind of player, but they have the same kind of impact and effectiveness for the New York Islanders. And you look no further when Adam Pelech was hurt. With him in the lineup, they were miles over 500. When he got injured and stepped out of the lineup, they really struggled without him. These two guys have become the two best defensemen on one of the best defensive teams in the league. They've passed Taves and Leddy and Boychuk and all those veteran guys. These are the mainstays. These are the cornerstones of that team and how they play. And they both kind of took that step this past year.
This team embraced the idea. You talked about the structure of Barry Trotz. Year before he gets there, they give up more goals than any team in the National League. He gets there, and he has his structure. As I clear my throat.
DJ Cool.
Yes. Music in the monitors. I digress. How about this? It's one thing for him to have that structure. It's another thing for them to embrace it and flourish the way they have. What does that tell you?
Smart. You have to, because it's one thing, yes, you have structure, you're told where to go, and it probably helps insulate you in what you need to do. But you also have to read the game, understand what you're being asked to do, and then do it well. I mean, at some point, you have to defend.
Sure.
I mean, you have to play. You have to go get a puck and move it to someone. And these two guys not only were smart enough to take the lessons they were being taught and embrace them, but also when they're asked to check and asked to steer someone outside, asked to block a backdoor pass, they're there within the context of their system, but also applying their skill that makes them uniquely talented at doing it effectively. So, yeah, it's not, you can't just put anyone in Barry Trotz's system and think, oh, yeah, they'll be as good as these two guys were. That's not the case. These two guys are special players, and they showed it.
Mike Johnson, I was going to tee you up with how awesome for Mika Zibanejad that for the whole season, he had the most goals per game in the league. How did he do it?
Well, I mean, I think he had a career kind of year, but he also took strides in his game and took his immense physical talent and applied them in a team system that was fast-paced and allowed him to attack. There was a lot of attention on Panarin as well. And it all came together for the year that you just described, led the league in goals per game. Despite being a very big player, he's 215-plus pounds, 6'2", 6'3". He is an excellent skater. He's able to create so much off the rush and skate away from guys, as evidenced by this. Also of note, Tony, one of the best breakaway scorers in the NHL at almost 50%. He's in the top 5 of breakaway scorers. Talk to Taylor Hall, I think it was 0 for 12. So you get scoring on your breakaways, and that will help your goal totals. The other part of it, the old school one-timer. The slap drive, write my name in the sky one-timer. Not everyone does that anymore. A lot of wristers like that shot, but when it comes to teeing him up on a power play or a slapper, he can rip it. Velocity, accuracy, you name it, he can really score from distance with that one-timer. And for any suggestion that this is a Panarin-led season because of Panarin's great year.
Sure.
He didn't get to play with Artemi Panarin 5-on-5 most of the year. He managed his own line. Panarin managed the other one. And Mika Zibanejad parlayed all that stuff together into being the most efficient goal scorer in the entire NHL. Now, I'll say this, and I do believe he took strides, and that's why he's on this list. He also had a career shooting percentage around 12. This past year was about 20. So that's probably not going to stay quite the same, so I would not expect him to lead the NHL in goals per game next year. But I think he found something in the way he can play and how consistent he can be and how often he can score that he will take his game to the mid-30s into a point-a-game plus player all the time with the stuff that he learned and applied this past year.
Where there are concerns on the back end for the Broadway Blue Shirts, we'll shift our focus to the forward group. You mentioned Panarin, obviously Zibanejad. They get the #1 overall pick in Lafreniere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement on Broadway. Can all of that talent play together? David Quinn has his work cut out for him.
To score goals?
Yes.
Yes. To score goals.
Yes.
To play offense.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you have that many good players, and they can spread the wealth around. They don't have to play together. And if you're Lafreniere and you're going to play in the third line, and you're Chris Kreider, you get to play with a Zibanejad or Panarin. They have enough guys that will be able to create.
Sure.
And there's just talent. I mean, they attack with speed. They're creative. They can finish. And they're really good players. And there's 6, 7, 8 of them out there. So they can withstand injuries. They can handle a compressed season because they can share the load. So I absolutely think there is a lot to like about what the Rangers have up front. We didn't even talk about Cabo Kakko, who I think should be in for a really good year as well as he learns and gets better. So, yeah, the forward group, really solid. It's the defense and the defensive side of the game, which maybe could use a little bit of an improvement.
2 + 2 = 4. The number on his front and back, that's where he lands on Johnny's list. These were his numbers from the All-Star break to the pause with their ranks in the NHL. That's the entire NHL. That's all 31 teams. Kevin Fiala joins us right now. 14 goals in the last 18 games you played. You were ridiculous to watch. It was must-see TV. What was it like to go through that stretch?
Yeah, thanks so much. It was very. I mean, it was a very good time, not just for me, but for the whole group, for the whole team. I thought. After the All-Star break, we just came out much differently, and the focus was to win every game, you know. And I felt I stepped it up. Big time, and I felt better and better every game, and the confidence just grew, and I did things that I didn't know I can do, kind of, and from there on it just. Went up.
Yeah, Kevin, because when we've watched you for years now, your talent, your skill was undeniable. Maybe certainly health was part of it. Maybe it was role. Maybe it was consistency. Kind of what all came together in this last year in Minnesota to really let you show how good you can be?
Yeah, I feel my teammates very much helped me every day to get at that level as I'm right now. You know, the coaches too, and everybody believed in me. And when I came to Minnesota, it was, like I said, everybody believed in me, and that's how my confidence grew. My teammates helped me every day, and from there on, it just clicked in my head, kind of. Like you said, my consistency didn't show in Nashville, kind of, and for me, it was the very important thing is consistency and do every day. Same things. Doesn't matter if I play good or play bad, and from there it just came, kind of.
Kevin, you are one of the best one-on-one players in the NHL. Not many guys can kind of stick handle around people and create their own opportunities. When you play like that, occasionally you miss on those opportunities. Is it your coaches? Is it your teammates? Is it yourself that keeps telling you it's okay, keep trying those plays, we believe you can make them happen?
I feel everybody, you know, everybody gets frustrated if it doesn't work, including myself. And if it works, everybody gets happy. And but it's tough if it doesn't work. You know, you get frustrated, the teammates. But I feel. My teammates done a great job, and respecting kind of that I try to do. Sometimes want to try too much, you know, and also the coaches, they have very much patience with me, so I very appreciate it.
Now, Johnny mentioned the word health earlier. We're not going to take you back to watching that terrible injury you suffered when you were with the Predators. But what's most impressive is having had that happen in your past, not only physically are you all the way back, but mentally so confident on the ice. How did you get there?
Oh, that took time, I gotta be honest. When that injury happened, it was physically tough to come back, but more mentally, it took me some games, and even some years. It just disappeared and it came back in my head. And some games, especially in St. Louis, I had trouble to play there for like 2 years, and it's in our division, so it's not very good to have that, but good to have that behind my back kind of now. And but very happy that I'm here, and that's the teammates, the coaches that I had that helped me get there.
One thing you've always had, Kevin, is a really good shot. Where has that come from? Is it through work? Have you always had it as a kid? Because it is one of the best releases, wristers in the game.
I've shot a lot of pucks when I was young, but especially last summer, I felt like I can improve my shot, improve my one-timer even more. So yeah, I think it's just a practice.
Kevin, congratulations on making Johnny's list. Number 4 is a big deal, and we wish you continued success in the coming season.
Thank you so much. Very appreciated, guys.
That's Kevin Fiala, a star on the rise. You know, Vancouver's got plenty of young stars. Tons of talent on that roster. Who from the Canucks is coming up? Don't go anywhere.
Thanks, Kevin, man.
Hey, Kevin,
appreciate
great
it.
job, man.
Perfect.
Way to stay
Thank
up
you
late
so
for
much.
us.
Anaheim, home to Disneyland, happiest place on earth until Shea Theodore went to Vegas and is doing the things he's doing in Vegas, including earning a spot on your list all the way up at number 3. Yeah. Why didn't this happen in Anaheim? And my goodness, Vegas loves that it's happening for them.
Well, in Anaheim, there were so many good defensemen around him. There was Cam Fowler there, and Hampus Lindholm, and Josh Manson, and Brandon Montour, and Sammy Vatanen, and on and on and on. And they had to make decisions with the expansion draft coming up as, who do we want to keep? Who can we afford to let go? And it looks like they might have chosen incorrectly because Shea Theodore's evolved into one of the best defensemen in the league. And for the last couple of years, he's been kind of the analytical darling. You look at all of his underlying numbers, his shot shares, and the way he defends and chances he creates when he's on the ice. And they've always been amongst the best in the league. But now he's taken to another level, playing against better competition and showing the kind of stuff that he really can do. He's got a great release, just a fantastic wrister, again, that Vegas plays. And it's worth noting the style that Vegas does play suits Shea Theodore as a defenseman. But this kind of talent, this kind of individual skill, that's special. And not everyone has that ability forward or defense. And you see him just dancing. This is in the play. Makes plays going up the ice. When he gets in the offensive zone, he's very active with his motion. And so he draws you wide, then able to kick it back to the middle. He's got the vision and the body movement to make it hard to cover. Making you make decisions, making you stretch out. And then, I didn't say he can take slappers, just doesn't do them all the time. And he really is the full package of skills that you'd want in a number 1 defenseman. He's playing against better opposition now. He's playing those high leverage moments, and he's thriving in them, and never more so than in the playoffs where he was second amongst defensemen in goals with some pretty good company in around him in Victor Hedman and Miro Heiskanen. So for all those reasons, we knew he was going to be good. And if you looked at his underlying numbers the last couple of years, you're like, he already is very good. But he kind of put it all together with the points and the production and the role on a good team, and then in the playoffs to kind of cement his spot as a breakout star. And I don't know if he's going to get any better because he's got now Alex Pietrangelo who's going to slide in there and work with him, help him get better. I don't know how you do that when he's already as good as he is.
In this very studio said, JT Miller is going to have a career year. And oh, did he, Johnny.
Well, Callie could have called me because I didn't see this kind of career coming out of JT Miller. He obviously was highly sought after. That the Vancouver Canucks traded a number 1 draft pick down to Tampa to get him. But I think they figured they were getting a 25-goal, 50-point guy. kind of at the top end, and that's really, really good. You
Yes.
want that guy in your team. What they didn't know was that they're going to get 72 points, more than a point a game, leading them in so many categories and becoming a real emotional leader of a team that he was relatively new to. You watch the behind-the-scenes stuff in the dressing room and on the ice in practice, and he is kind of one of those guys that is the fabric of a young team. And he stepped right in there, took on that leadership mantle, took on a bigger role, capable of playing with Pettersson, took a lot of face-offs for Elias Pettersson when Pettersson was out there because, he's better at it than Elias Pettersson is. He just did so many things consistently at a higher level than I knew he could. And for that reason, the fact that he was one of the best players in the league this year. He's a breakout star.
JT's bringing Van back. A little homage there to Justin Timberlake. Not accurate. Nowhere near what he can do. My question, I kind of got a laugh out of Johnny. What wasn't funny at all was Vancouver's drought. 2015, they made the playoffs, but it was a quick exit. Early last decade, they're winning President's trophies. They, with your former teammate Travis Green, really came on. Can they sustain it and take the next step?
It's going to be difficult because they lost some pretty important pieces, even though I don't fault Vancouver management for not re-signing Markstrom to that term, for not re-signing Chris Tanev to that term. Those guys are excellent and important players and played really well this past year, but the age and the contracts and the cap situation probably made it a smart decision not to. So much will depend on what Thatcher, Demko, and Braden Holtby can do. They have good guys potentially to play in net, but can they play as well as Markstrom did last year? That may very well tell the tale of how good they can be. Quinn Hughes is still
magical.
Magical is a great word for him. Pettersson's only going to get better. I think Brock Besser bounces back in a big way and has more production. JT Miller will be good once again. I do think they'll miss Tyler Toffoli, that secondary scoring. That will be the big question. Goaltending, secondary scoring. They'll be around the playoff bubble. I don't know if they're going to get through it again and be in the playoffs. They're going to be fighting for it all year long. But the goaltending situation has to be resolved. They have two good options. One of them has to hit.
I'll watch Elias Pettersson anytime, day or night. I don't care that it's the late game. That guy is incredible. Oh, Johnny, when you talked about what you were looking for out of a breakout, I would say the left column to the right column is what you were getting at.
Absolutely. Andrei Svechnikov taking that momentous leap from good player and future star to current star.
Right now.
And there's so much to like about his game, starting with his physical play. We'll get to the goals and the hands and all that stuff, but he's got that edge to him. He's got a bit of a mean streak. He's not afraid to take a run at guys. He doesn't back down from the biggest. There's also, every great player needs it, that healthy dose of arrogance that says, I'm good and I know it. And I'm willing to play like I know it. I'm not bashful. I'm not shy. I'm good. I'm great. So watch me go to work. And then, the hands and the finish around the net. He's got so many ways to do it beyond the scoopers, Mike Legg specials, lacrosse goals. Those ones are amazing to watch, but they're not what makes him great. What makes him great is the hands in and around the net, the different ways that he can score, whether it's off the rush, kind of power move and just bowling over guys, but the quick release tone. It's how quickly he can get it off.
Oh, there it is.
How accurate it is and the velocity on those plays. The best part of Andrei Svechnikov, we talked to Rod Brindamore about halfway through this year, and he's like, yes, Svech is doing great. He's growing. And he's still barely figured it out. Like, he's just scratching the surface of how to play in the NHL. He's kind of getting by on raw talent, good line mates, and just the moxie that says, I'm great. And on that alone, he was one of the best players in the NHL. Imagine as he rounds out his game, becomes more complete, plays in more situations, understands moving away from the puck, he becomes even better. But beyond that, he took the strides that I think Carolina and a lot of hockey people thought he was capable of taking them, but he took them all at once. And he's so much fun to watch, and he brings Carolina that element of dangerous goal scorer that they've needed. And for those reasons, I don't know how much better he can get, but he's gone from good to great. He's my #1 breakout player of the year.
Deserving #1. Great list, Johnny. Thanks so much for watching NHL Tonight.